All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. It's the second week of preseason here. Falcons at Jets, Monday Night Football. I'm pumped up. 8 o'clock Eastern, ESPN here. Okay, so everybody's going to be watching. And funny enough, I was actually texting with a buddy earlier today, and he was like, "Why do you get so pumped up over preseason football? Like, it's boring. You don't really see many starters. It's not really like any complex plays. No teams really show their hand on what they're going to do in the regular season." And I'm like, because it's football, and I love the sport. I really, really do. And I know a lot of you guys love football as well. So, you know, I get it. It is just preseason. The wins and losses don't really carry any significant weight moving forward. But with that said, there's still a lot to be learned, a lot to really enjoy and take away from these preseason games. Like we said, Falcons at Jets. Let's take a look at Atlanta. They finished 7-10 last season, third in the NFC South behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. They weren't extremely active in trying to acquire more players through free agency and everything like that, but the players that they did manage to acquire, man, I think they're going to be extremely impactful for this Falcons squad next season. I mean, to sign Marcus Mariota, who's going to be the starting quarterback, to draft a guy in Desmond Ridder, a guy who, in my opinion, possesses a lot of traits to be a successful quarterback: the size, the arm strength, the accuracy, the winning pedigree coming over from Cincinnati, mechanically sound as well. I really, really like Desmond Ridder, not to mention the leadership. You draft Drake London. Okay, I absolutely love Drake London, an absolute behemoth at the wide receiver position. Okay, I cannot wait to see what London brings to this Falcons every Sunday. Another under the radar type of signing was Casey Hayward. You know, at one point in time, Casey was a high profile corner. You know, he's probably not a top 5, top 10 corner at this point, but he's a veteran corner coming in at a position of need. And you look at that defensive coordinator, it's Dean Pease, a guy who's been around the game for a long, long time. I think it's really important to add leadership, add veteran leadership to a position that overall is pretty young. Okay, so we look at the Falcons offseason acquisitions. Although they didn't make a ton of moves, the moves that they did make, I admittedly, I really, really like. Unfortunately, though, for the Falcons, they did lose some talent. Matt Ryan, the headliner here, traded away to the Indianapolis Colts. Russell Gage is another guy who signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, joining Tom Brady within the division. I mean, that's got to sting. And then, of course, Calvin Ridley suspended the entire season. And it sucks. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. To lose one of the game's best wide receivers to a year-long suspension, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. But with that said, I felt like Arthur Smith, this coaching staff, did a lot with not a lot of talent last season. To win 7 games with that roster in that division, I think is tough. And I do think it's a testament to Arthur Smith, first-year head coach, much like Robert Saleh was last year. And yes, of course, you know, we did have a veteran quarterback in this and that, but at the end of the day, Arthur Smith is the captain of the ship here. This year's going to be a big season for him because, you know, we take a look at all those departures. There's a lot on the line. But I'm excited for Atlanta. I got to be honest. I really am. I love their young talent. London, Pitts, Terrell. I mean, these guys are studs. These guys are really, really good football players. And I'm looking forward to seeing this team grow and develop over time. Now, again, it is preseason here, but we have to ask the question, what can the Jets offense do to have success against this Falcons defense? What do I really want to see here? For me, it's pretty much the same thing that I was hoping to see last week against the Eagles, which we unfortunately didn't get, which was play clean football, right? Limit turnovers. I don't want to see a lot of confusion, guys lining up in the wrong spots, wasting timeouts, delay of games, just guys not being on the same page, Flacco overshooting a guy, on an out route where the wide receiver stops and turns around because he's reading something differently, or is under the interpretation that's what he's supposed to do. Okay, so I mean, I really feel like the second week of preseason here, you've practiced against the Falcons 2 straight days in joint practices, Friday and Saturday. Let's see it all come to a head on game day and put out a clean performance. You know, if we rewind and look at that Eagles game, I'm a diehard Jet fan here, but I was not impressed with what the Jets looked like, what the Jets' first team looked like, I should say, against the Eagles. I mean, that offense, the first drive, Zach Wilson throws just a horrendous INT to Kaiser White, who takes it back to the house. Next drive, Zach Wilson gets hurt, and then from that point on, my head is just spinning, worst case scenario, best case scenario, all that kind of stuff. And then we flip it and we look at the defensive side. They couldn't get after Jalen Hurts. Guys were wide open through the entirety of the first quarter. Jalen Hurts was perfect on the day, didn't miss a single pass, actually had a pretty sweet touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert, who made his way into the end zone. And I felt like everybody was either confused, like discombobulated on the defensive side of the football. We just couldn't figure out how to stop the Eagles offense. I understand, of course, it's preseason, vanilla defenses. You're not going to be breaking out crazy blitzes or, anything like that. And also something to note, no John Franklin Myers, no Carl Lawson. A lot of players did not participate. No DJ Reed in that preseason opener. And Saleh actually said yesterday that he's quote unquote torn on whether or not to play the starters. And, if it was up to me, I think I would really look at it from an individual standpoint. For guys that you don't have 1,000% confidence in right at this given moment, or let's just say player X needs to work on A, B, and C, I think I would, roll the dice and, maybe let him play for a quarter and a half or something like that, 2-3 drives. Whereas, maybe you have a veteran on the team like a Carl Lawson or something like that, and you're like, hey, you know what? We feel really good about where he's at. We don't want to disrupt anything. We don't want to take the risk of him re-injuring himself or something along those lines. Let's just sit him out. The sky won't fall if he doesn't suit up and play. It is what it is. Now, speaking of the defense, the main takeaway that I want to walk away with on Monday night is defensive line success, right? Stopping the run, stopping the pass, getting after the quarterback, but specifically, it is getting after the quarterback here, okay? Again, Hurts had all day to throw, running around, just taking his time. It looked like the Jets were in slow motion in that preseason week 1 game, and the Eagles were just, at normal speed. I do not want to see that come Monday night. Not at all. I want to see Mariota go down. I want to see Desmond Ridder see constant pressure, whether it's up the middle, off the edge, whatever it is, collapse the pocket. If they bounce it to the outside, let's have guys to hawk them down. The defensive line has got to have success for me because I'm not going to sit here and lie. If we go 2 weeks back to back in the preseason and the quarterbacks aren't touched, and I'm referencing the first team here, by the way. I think that's important to note. I'm not talking about, every single player, because there are some players that I'm super excited about. But as far as like performance-based points that I want to see, that first team defensive line has got to have some success for me personally. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are you excited to see? What are you going to be looking out for? Can't wait to dive into the comments and check them all out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your Sunday. As always, go Jets.